sports all plays. Yeah. All sports all plays. All sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk, Thursday, September 14th, 2023. I'm Gonzo, joined by the Sports Judge, Jonathan Mathis. How's it going, Sports Judge?
Hey, what's up, fellas? What's going on? How's everyone feeling tonight? Thanks for being a part of the show. I want to thank all our viewers out there. Our viewers are tuned in. What's up, Big Glenn? Thanks for being a part of the show tonight. It's great to have you on the show with Gonzo and I. And as you know, we have a blast doing this show. We have a lot of fun doing this show, and we're going to have a lot of fun tonight because we got a lot of stuff to get into. There is a lot of topics. There's a lot of things to unpack that has happened in the sports world. Aaron Rodgers going down. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about this Deion Sanders and this back and forth barking that's going on in the great state of Colorado. I mean, there's a lot to get into, but I'm feeling good tonight. I'm pumped up. I'm fired up. I'm as fired up as Deion Sanders and Shador Sanders for this weekend. I'm just fired up right now.
Hell yeah, we're high stepping like Deion Sanders into this weekend, man. It's gonna be a good one on Saturday.
Oh yeah, you poked the prime. And you're about to get punished now, but we'll get into that.
Most definitely.
All right, and as Judge said, we got Big Glenn as a guest tonight. How's it going, Glenn?
Doing fantastic, man. Looking forward to this weekend's games and everything. Colts and Texans and Colorado State and Colorado, man.
Yeah, had a good football game, pretty good football game tonight. Looks like the Eagles are going to hold on here, but the Vikings came back and made it interesting. We went for some mistakes by the Vikings in that first half. One of them by Justin Jefferson, trying to stretch the ball out over the goal line, fumbles the ball and went out of the end zone. So instead of being first and goal, ended up being a touchback in Philadelphia's ball. And that gave Philadelphia the lead at halftime, where the Vikings could have had that lead at halftime. And then Vikings just dug themselves too big of a hole with some early turnovers as well. But this Eagles team hasn't looked the same in the first two games as they did last year. They're still a good team. They're 2-0. Don't get me wrong, but they haven't quite looked like the dominant team that they looked like last year. But Judge, you brought it up. Colorado State coach. I don't understand why these coaches think it's a good idea to talk about Deion or any other coach. Anytime you talk about it, only have to be Deion. Anytime you talk about another coach that you're getting ready to play, you're just giving that team some fuel. I don't understand what Colorado State thought the Colorado State coach thought he was going to get out of this, because they were already big enough underdogs coming into this game. Talent wise, I mean, everything. If you look at it, they're not going to match up with Colorado it would take a miracle for them to even stay in the game. Why would you even want to give Dion or the Colorado football team any bulletin board material to fire them up extra is beyond me. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, like I said, because I've expected Colorado to go in here and beat them probably by about 40 anyway. But you would think coaches would learn that talking about other coaches doesn't get you nowhere, and especially doesn't help your team at all. It just puts your team more in an awkward position than anything. And now your team's going to take some bullets for you that maybe they didn't have to take, because if they get up by 40, Colorado's going to keep pushing and try to get up by 60, just because some of the comments that was made by a head coach. So I think it's going to be interesting. I do think that Colorado is a lot better. No, because some people are going to get mad when I say this. They're a lot better team they were last year. But I do think they're getting a little overhyped too quick. Yes, they beat TCU. I know TCU was in the national championship game last year, but the TCU team this year is not the same TCU team we saw last year. They lost a lot of players. They beat a Nebraska team, which that's a big win as well. But it's also Nebraska, who's bottom half of the Big Ten conference. It's not like Nebraska's a top tier program like they used to be years ago. So I want to see. Yeah. I want to see what Colorado looks like against Oregon next week, or against USC the week after that. Because don't get me wrong, I think Colorado's a real good football team, but I just think we're kind of shooting them up the rankings a little quicker than maybe what they need to be. But I mean, Anderson's great at quarterback.
They haven't really played anybody, right? I mean, it's still early in the season. We can't really say that they are the most premier team in the country. I think it's too early to say that, but they do look like a national powerhouse given the two teams that they played against. I mean, look at how they have played so far. I mean, look, Colorado is 2-0. This team was one of the worst teams in college football last season. I mean, they were at rock bottom. They were mediocre. Nobody was talking about this team. But when you have a big name coach like Deion Sanders, you're gonna get hype, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that it's that it's fair or that you are deserving of that hype, but you're gonna get hyped up because of course, Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders went to Colorado. He has taken over the program. He has gotten off to a remarkable start. He quickly came in, transformed this program, changed the whole identity of the program, right? So of course you're gonna get hyped up. But I want to talk about Jay Novell and his stupidity, because this was utter stupidity. Look,
that's not smart.
If you're dumb enough and if you're going to throw shade on another coach, you sure as hell better be able to back it up. But I hate to tell you that's you're not backing this up. You're not going to back it. Okay, you lost by running your mouth. You should have stayed quiet. You should have kept your mouth shut. If you felt that way, fine. You don't have to tell the whole world how you feel about Coach Prime, because at the end of the day, when you add fuel to the fire, you're going to get punished for it. Now they're about to get embarrassed. It's over. It's over. You poked Coach Prime. Oh, and by the way, his son is the quarterback of the team. You don't think it's personal? You're talking about my dad? You don't think I'm going to run up the score on Saturday against your team? I'm running up the score. It might be 58-14 at one point. Next thing you know, it's 70-14. Hell, they might even put up 80 points. Hey, you know what? This is now personal. They done messed up, like Deion Sanders said. And I mean, you're going to make comments like that. You're going to say, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me. Okay, do you want some cookies? I mean, that's what your mother taught you. Okay, okay, that's cool. Do I really care if I'm Deion Sanders? I don't care Why do I have to take my glasses and hat off to you? Why do I have to take my hat and glasses off? You're not my dad. You're nobody to me. You're not my superior. You're not my boss. Why do I have to take off my glasses and hat? Why even make those comments? And the timing of the comments, man, it comes right before the matchup, the big matchup on Saturday. I just don't understand it. I think it was very dumb of him, and now he is about to get punished. His team is about to get humiliated. Again, if you're going to talk trash like this, you better be able to back it up. You're not going to be able to back it up. I don't know why he did it. I don't know why he even made these remarks. I just don't understand it. I've been talking about this all day, and I just think it's utter nonsense. And quite frankly, it's foolish of him to make these comments. What are you doing? What?
I think
why are you saying this? Why?
I think he just made these comments out of jealousy because he's in the state of Colorado, but all that's getting talked about is Colorado. Colorado State's not getting no pub, which Colorado should be getting talked about. They're making moves. Colorado State isn't. And that's why I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal because they were going to get smoked this weekend, in my opinion, no matter what.
-24, so yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You don't want to give the. That's why I think it was even stupider because you were already going to get smoked. It wasn't like this is a game you had a chance going in to win. So why talk shit when you already know that you're probably going to get smoked anyway? So why even make it personal or try to make it any worse? Doesn't make much sense to me. If you're going to talk shit, like you said, you want to be able to back it up. And like I said, it'd be a miracle if somehow Colorado State was able to pull off an upset against Colorado. There would have to be a lot of things go wrong for Colorado State to even be in the game, let alone have a chance to win it.
Mm-hmm.
They're done. They're done. They're about to get destroyed. They're about to get humiliated. They're about to get the ass whooping of their lifetime. Thanks to their coach. Good job, coach.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Congratulations, we're really proud, Yeah, the point spread is like 24, so that should tell you right there alone, so.
Yeah. I mean, Colorado State wasn't going to have a chance in this game. Now you're definitely not going to have a chance because, I mean, you woke up a team that was your best chance would be if this team was to overlook you. That was going to be your best chances if Colorado came in a little too cocky, maybe overlooked Colorado State a little bit. That was going to be Colorado State's only chance of even trying to be in the game. And I'm not even saying they'd have a chance to win it then. But now you just guaranteed that they're not going to overlook you because you just got them refocused by making dumb comments.
Those practices this week at Colorado have been crazy because you know how Deion Sanders is. Those practices this week has been crazy.
Well, he told his players about it today on the field at practice.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he found out about it, he told him his players on the field. So it's just another way to try to get your players motivated.
It's lighter fluid. What this has done, it's motivated his players to go out there and kick some ass. That's what it's done. It's lighter fluid, okay? It has lit a fire, okay? Let's just say Jay Novell has set a fire, and there's a fire burning in the state of Colorado thanks to him. Mm-hmm. He didn't want that smoke. Trust me, he didn't want that smoke. After Saturday, he will see.
I think if it was a college basketball team that was going against Colorado, they probably would have their chance. But we're talking college football here, so their tails going to get whipped pretty bad on Saturday.
Oh yeah, they were already going to get whipped bad before he made these comments. And this is going to make it worse.
Yeah.
Then Monday night, before we get into tonight's game, which just ended, but Monday night you had the debut of Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, which unfortunately lasted 4 plays, and then he ruptured an Achilles. I'll tell you what, it was hard to watch. I've always been an Aaron Rodgers fan, even though I'm a Colts fan. So I I've always been just a fan of Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback because he's one of the best throwers of the football we've seen. And I wanted to see what it was going to look like with him leaving the Packers. If he was going to be able to get the Jets to the playoffs and maybe even to a Super Bowl. The Jets have a lot of talent. They showed how talented of a defense they had Monday night by still being able to win that game, even without after that happened with Rodgers. But Rodgers is 39 years old. Rupture Achilles. That's a long, hard, gruesome rehab that he's looking at for the next 8, 9, 10 months. 39 years old. Do you guys see him coming back and playing next season?
Well, look, this can't be the way that Aaron Rodgers goes out, right? I don't think any professional athlete want to go out this way. They want to finish their career on a more positive note, if possible. Can Aaron Rodgers do that? Possibly. I'm not sure. He's a 4-time NFL MVP. The severity of his ruptured Achilles tendon, and the surgery followed by extensive rehab, it might force Rodgers to retire. He might be staring at football mortality. It seems that way, right? We really don't know what to expect. Maybe he goes back and spend a few more weeks or months during this time off on a darkness retreat and isolate himself like he did. Maybe he puts in the work when he can to rehab and hopefully try to come back stronger. I really don't know. Only Aaron Rodgers can make that call. I did create a post yesterday that said, should Aaron Rodgers retire? And there was mixed reactions. Some people said he should retire. A lot of people were saying he shouldn't go out that way. He might not have a choice but to go out that way. And now he will have to reconsider his football future and other elements of his life. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think the best thing going for Aaron is the fact that he had the injury very early in the season. Because if I remember correctly, Achilles injuries in that way, they usually take almost a year to heal from. So I think that's probably the best thing going for him to be able to come back potentially next year. But will his body? He may want to come back, but will his body allow it in that way? That's a whole another situation right there.
Yeah. See, my thoughts on it. I think he'll play again, and I think it happened when it did. If it was going to happen, happening at the beginning of the season was the time for it to happen. Now, because if this would have happened maybe week 8, week 9, then I would say his career is probably over because he would miss. If he did try to come back next year, he'd miss probably the first half of the season before he'd be ready to come back. But since he would be ready, if everything goes right, he could be ready by the beginning of the next season. I think there's a good chance he's going to come back because being the competitor that he's shown to be over the last 17, 18 years that he's played in the NFL.
If he can go, he's going to go.
Yeah, I don't see him going out like this. I think he'll is at least going to try to come back. Now, is he going to be able to come back and play at a high level? We're not going to know that until we see him on the field. One thing that I do think helps him is it is his left leg, not his right leg. So it's not his plant leg. It's not your plant leg that you're driving off of when you're throwing the ball. So I do think that helps a little bit that it is the left leg and not the right leg. But I think if it was going to happen, it's good that it happened when it did because it gives him the whole season and he could potentially be back at the beginning of next season. But just the competitor is, I see him rehabbing and doing everything he can to get back and at least give it a try. And I think he didn't get to complete one pass as a Jet. I don't think he's going to want to go out like that. And I think the mindset of the potential he thought that this team had, I think I think he's going to do everything he can to try to come back next year and at least give it a shot and see what he can do with this team. Now, if you're the Jets, you're in trouble. I mean, you're back to the quarterback that you didn't want. You're back to the guy that you had last year that everybody kept saying if you had a quarterback, the Jets are a playoff team. If the Jets had a quarterback, they might be able to contend for a Super Bowl. Well, you had a quarterback and it lasted for 4 plays. Now you're back to that guy in Zach Wilson again. And you could tell they didn't have much confidence in him in that game Monday night because they wouldn't let him throw hardly anything past the line of scrimmage. It was all screens and
you had
trying to run the ball
fans off the camera and everything else, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Nobody wants to see Zach Wilson as a starting quarterback in New York. Nobody wants to see that. But you know what, guys? I find it fascinating that players have been calling to get rid of the artificial turf, and they have placed the blame on the artificial turf for Aaron Rodgers' injury. I think this injury would have happened regardless, because look, Leonard Floyd landed on top of him.
Mm-hmm. And he's had a sore calf for a bit too.
Right. I think this was unavoidable. It would have happened regardless of the situation. You can change the turf all you want, but injuries are still gonna happen. That's the nature of the game.
Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen guys tear Achilles. We've seen guys rupture Achilles on grass. We've seen it on
exactly.
We've seen it on wood during basketball. We've seen it on turf. I mean, we've seen it on all different kind of
surfaces.
Yeah, all different surfaces. So,
right.
If I was going to put anything on it, I would go to what Glenn said. Is it could have been that it could have been some lingering effect from that calf injury that he had that he was coming back from, the little calf strain.
And the way he went down at the right angle for that thing to go too as well.
Yeah, and he's kind of overextended, and like you said, you have Floyd on your back. What's that? 270-pound, 280-pound guy that's on your back, and you're already overextended.
Especially with that,
you've had a little bit of a dinged up calf anyway. So I think that would attribute it to more. But sometimes, man, sometimes it don't matter. It's just sometimes just a freak accident, a freak situation that happens. You can be 100% healthy and you can be walking across the field and something could pop. I mean, for no reason, for no really rhyme or reason at all.
Non-contact injury.
There's not always like one thing you can point at and say, oh, it was this or it was that. But yeah, well, I'm not going to go for it was because it was on turf, because I've seen it happen on grass. I've seen it happen on turf. I think it was just one of them things. If your Achilles is going to pop, it's going to pop. It's just more of a matter of when and not why.
Right.
And because I heard a doctor talking on McAfee show, it's been Tuesday morning, and he basically said there's no difference between your Achilles, my Achilles, Glenn's Achilles, and a professional athlete's Achilles. So these guys that work out and are getting bigger, stronger, faster, their Achilles is just like ours. It's not like you can get a supercharged Achilles. So it's basically like having a Jeep with regular suspension. You know what I mean? It ain't like you get extra suspension because you're a professional athlete. Everybody's Achilles are basically the same. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
I heard that interview, by the way. That was a great interview.
Oh yeah, Pat McAfee is always a great watch, man. He's actually going to have The Rock tomorrow on with them out in Colorado. So.
Yep. And Deion Sanders is going to be on tomorrow with them as well.
Heck yeah, it's going to be a good show. We'll be watching it.
What time does it air?
12 to 3, so that'd be 9 to noon your time.
On ESPN?
He's on ESPN for the first 2 hours, so it'd be 9 to 11 your time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's also on YouTube, I do believe, so you can catch all three.
Yeah. I usually watch. I've watched it. I've been watching on YouTube for the last like 4 or 5 years. So that's where I usually watch it still.
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna have Deion on. Oh, and Deion's son, Shiloh. He was supposed to be on today, but they were having some connection trouble, so he's going to come. He's going to go on there tomorrow because they're going to be live from Colorado tomorrow.
That's a dope show. I love that show. Great content, great commentary,
I've been watching
great
it for
discussions. He's entertaining.
Oh yeah,
He puts on a great show.
Yeah, I've been watching it for, like I said, at least I'd say 4 or 5 years.
Oh yeah, I've been watching him for a very long time too. And I've learned from him as a podcaster myself. I've learned from just.
I'd always listen to the podcast, and then I started watching it live. And then I started watching the show live on YouTube, and then it just. And now he's on ESPN. But
his old HQ used to be 2 blocks from where I'm at now currently. So.
I was getting ready to say his old office was just right down the road from where you live.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I know exactly the building it is too. So.
Nice.
What do you guys think about tonight's Thursday night football game? You have
better than average. Last year, a lot of the Thursday night football games were duds. This one appeared to be pretty relatively decent.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game considering that the Vikings turn over the ball too much. What do they like? Handing out donations to the opposing team? I don't know. I can't figure this team out. I mean, last year we talked about how great of a team this team could be in the playoffs. A year ago, we was talking about that they were going to be one of the teams to beat in the National Football League. But again, they put on a facade last season. So we really didn't know what to make of the Vikings towards the end of the season because it was shaky. They were up and down. And this year, it's been rough because they turn over the ball so much. And then they have a game-managing quarterback. But tonight's game resulted in a 2-0 start for the Eagles. And now the Vikings, of course, dropped to 0-2. Not a good start for the Vikings. It hasn't been a great start for the Eagles either, but the Eagles will take it. I mean, look, they won 2 games to start the season. They're 2-0 to start the season. Not every win's going to be pretty, but hey, you take it. The Vikings, man, again, they posted the best record in one-score games in NFL history last season at 11-0. Not the case this year. Again, the Vikings are not a team that is going to be a team to look out for. They're just not. Kirk Cousins had 2 fumbles last week. You don't know what you're going to get from him because he's too inconsistent. And tell me why he waits to the worst possible time to turn over the freaking football. It never fails with him. But the Eagles, man, they look good. They have leaned on a particular running back for an extended period of time. They got DeAndre's Shift now. He's great to have, and we all know that the Eagles like to run the football, right? They can pound it on the ground. That's something they do really well. I think that running game is their foundation. When you look at their running game, that is their foundation. That's who they are, right? That best defines them, running the football. And then you got a quarterback who's a dual threat quarterback. He can do some running as well. He can turn the game into a track meet. So, I mean, you got a solid performance from your running back. And I mean, they got a backfield that is worthy of some amazing starting running backs. Then you got AJ Brown. You got some high volume pass catchers out there that can make plays. You got Devontae Smith. You seen that one catch he made tonight? Phenomenal, sensational. He was showcasing his speed and his gifted hands. This Eagles team is gonna be fine. I mean, again, not every win is gonna be pretty, but the Vikings It's concerning. It's concerning. I mean, you got one of the best wide receivers in the game in Justin Jefferson, and he's not in bad company. I mean, when you look at what he's doing individually, but again, it's all about team effort. And if your team is not winning, the individual accolades don't matter. But the Eagles, man, they'll be fine. I think the Vikings are in a bit of some trouble.
Yeah, when it comes to the Kirk Cousins, we definitely don't like that.
Right.
I think with the Vikings, it's more their defense. They're good on offense. I mean, tonight the big difference in that game tonight was the turnovers. Vikings had four fumbles, and I think one was Kirk Cousins, but the rest of them wasn't. Kirk Cousins had a good game throwing the ball. He threw for 300 something yards. But if you look at the big difference in this game, and I think the Vikings messed up on that, is they thought they were going to be able to get rid of Dalvin Cook and just replace him with whoever. Well, the Vikings had 28 yards rushing. Well, and where that hurt him is the Eagles had 39 minutes of time of possession, where the Vikings only had the ball for 20 minutes. Well, you're setting your defense up for failure when your defense is up on the field, or his defense is on the field for 40 minutes. And that was the Vikings' biggest thing last year. Last year they had that good record, but if you looked, it was all one-score games. The ball just seemed to bounce the Vikings' way. But if you look, they had one of the worst defenses in the league last year. Well, and so far in the first couple games, don't look like their defense has gotten a whole lot better. I know they brought in Brian Flores, hoping to kind of help with that. They gave up 34 points tonight. But like I said, another big play in that game was the turnover by Justin Jefferson at the goal line, because the Vikings could have went in at halftime ahead in that game instead of down by 10. They could have been ahead in that, it could have been ahead in the game. If Justin Jefferson don't fumble that ball right at the goal line, it ends up going out of the end zone. So it was a turnover and a touchback for the Eagles. The Eagles go down and get a field goal there at the end of the half. That could have been a big swing. I think the Vikings defense has to step up, or they're not going to go anywhere. And then with the Eagles, I think they will get better. I think with the Eagles, you're going to have a little bit of a letdown from you made the Super Bowl. Made the Super Bowl last year, you lost. But not just that, you lost not just that, you also lost your offensive coordinator. You lost your defensive coordinator. So you got some new guys in there. Players kind of got to get used to the new coordinators and stuff. So I figured it's going to take a couple games before you see them gel. But running game looked good tonight, and they had quite a few injuries they've had quite a few injuries at the running back and in their secondary. The Eagles have lost quite a few players in their secondary over the first 2 weeks. So that's going to be something to need to watch out for, is how their secondary going to hold up, and especially is their depth at running back going to hold up, because you had so many guys get hurt tonight. Right.
Well, I thought the Eagles dominated in the trenches. I mean, the scoreboard says the Eagles won by just 6 points. I understand that. But this game never felt like it was close. I think, the Eagles dominated in the trenches. They generated 259 rushing yards on offense. I mean, they just destroyed the Vikings on the ground. The Vikings couldn't stop the run all night. It was one of those nights. And, their defense contained Alexander Madison for just 28 rushing yards and recorded 4 turnovers. So, I mean, it was a great night for the Eagles. And then you talk about Schiff. He powered that offense. He was dynamic. The Eagles have hit their strides, offensively. The passing attack, I think that would all come together at some point. The passing attack was inconsistent, despite 2 big plays to Devontae Smith, who finished with 131 yards and a touchdown. But again, like Gonzo just said, new offensive coordinator. You're still trying to get used to Brian Johnson. You're still trying to learn his playbook, and you're still trying to get acclimated, trying to get a better understanding of his playbook and what plays he likes to run and all this. And that kind of stuff takes a little time, right? But Brian Johnson has vowed to get Schiff more involved, and we saw that tonight. It's a run heavy approach, and that's something that the Eagles were able to take advantage of against that Vikings defense.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at it. See, like it was 13-7 at halftime, and that could have very easily been
14-7 or
14-7 the other way.
Exactly.
Am I saying Schiff? I should be saying Swift. Always screw up on his name. Yep.
But yeah, like I said, I picked the Eagles. I picked the Eagles to win this game. That was a pick I gave out earlier on the sport. My sports betting show we do. But they didn't cover the spread, so I'm going to lose that pick anyway because the spread was 6.5 points. They wasn't able to cover that. Well, if you remember last year, the Eagles whooped the Vikings last year in week 2. And I think if it wasn't a Thursday night game, it was a Monday night game. It was either a Monday night game or a Thursday night game. They played in week 2, and
was that a primetime game?
Yep, the Eagles throttled the Vikings last year in week 2. I think the Vikings only scored 6 or 7 points. It might have been a Thursday night game like this one was. It was either a Thursday night or a Monday night game last year, and so I had the Eagles winning the game. But like I said, watching that game, especially that first half, the Vikings had chances, but you can't keep shooting yourself in the foot. Yeah. You're not going to win many games turning the ball over 4 times. You're just not. I don't care how good of a team you are and how good the other team you're playing is, or how bad the other team you're playing is. Yeah, if you turn the ball over 4 times, you're probably not going to win. Look what happened to the Jets on Monday night.
Yeah. Oof. I had Josh Allen on
Josh Allen couldn't throw the ball to anybody in the right color jersey, and that's why the Jets won the game.
He's reckless. He's too reckless. He doesn't always make the smartest decisions with the football, and it comes back to bite him in the ass.
Because if you look at it, there was no way the Jets should have won that game after Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
No, Josh Allen made too many mistakes. There was too many miscues.
You're bringing in a backup quarterback. Not only that, all the air in the place went out of the building when Rodgers got hurt. All the momentum the Jets had, everything.
Yeah, that injury, that Aaron Rodgers injury was deflating. Absolutely. Yeah. That just killed everyone's mood in that building.
It was hard. It was hard to watch the rest of the game because I was like, well, this game's over. As soon as that happened, this game's over. Bills are going to win this game.
But the Jets still survived the game. They still pulled it out in the end. Yeah, not because of Zach Wilson. Not because of Zach Wilson, but because of a great, excellent grab by Garrett Wilson. That was a sensational play in the end zone that he made. I mean, he was fantastic. You look at the 3 picks that Jordan Whitehead had. He made an impact.
Yeah, he made himself an extra $250,000 that night.
Right. He was a game changer, big time.
He reached his interception incentive in game 1.
Right. More than anything, it was what the team did on defense, and that is what is going to carry the Jets. The Jets will go as far as their defense can take them.
Well, you're right.
They're going to have to rely heavily on their defense.
Judge, you're right that it was because of their defense, but it was also, because don't get me wrong, their defense played a hell of a game, but it there was also mistakes being made by Buffalo.
Yeah,
particularly
Yeah,
Josh Allen. If you don't turn the ball over, I don't care how good that defense was playing. The Jets had no offense. The only way the Jets was going to beat you if you gave them short fields to be able to score, and that's what Buffalo kept doing by turning the ball over.
Buffalo kept doing by turning over the ball, and of course, Josh Allen threw 3 interceptions, and he had the lost fumble as well. So, I mean, hey, he had a horrible night. It was the worst performance of his NFL career. That was pathetic. Josh Allen has to get in the film room. He has to look at what he did wrong. He has to look at the corrections that need to be made, because he can't have another performance like this. He's turning into Jameson Winston. I hate to say it. He was a turnover machine in that game.
He has to be more patient. He's trying. He gets too aggressive. Yeah, he gets too aggressive.
Yeah, he gets over aggressive. He gets overzealous.
But I guess if I had an arm where I could throw the ball 75 yards, I'd probably get a little over aggressive as well.
Yeah, he's overzealous, and because of that, it leads to turnovers. You know, he's impetuous.
And that's the thing though with him, you take the good and the bad, because since he's came in the league, he leads the league in interceptions, but he also leads the league in touchdowns. So it's a give and a take. But yeah, he was bad on Monday night. He definitely has to clean that up. But I think with the Bills too, they got to find a pass rush. On defense, they don't have much of a pass rush at all, and especially in the AFC, if you don't have a pass rush in the AFC against where a lot of the better quarterbacks are, it could be a long season. Them guys are going to pick you apart if you can't put pressure on them.
That is the truth on that one.
They need to run the ball more consistently too. I think they want Josh Allen to do everything, and he can't do everything. This Buffalo Bills offense is too one-dimensional because they expect Josh Allen
to be Jim
to
Kelly.
lead the way. They expect Josh Allen to carry the heavy burden on his shoulder. That's the problem with the Buffalo Bills.
That is the truth, man. They expect him to be Jim Kelly every week, man. I think it's part of the issue.
They want him to be the wide receiver, even though he can't throw the ball to himself. That's impossible. They want him to be the running back. They want him to be the offensive lineman. They want him to be the quarterback. I mean, damn, you might as well give him the earpiece too. You want him to be everything.
Well,
let him attempt the field goal as well while you're at it.
Well, they're big, and the problem right now with running the ball is their offensive line isn't real good, especially at run blocking. So when they do try to run the ball and they don't work out, they don't stick with it. They kind of get away from it too quick. And I like James Cook. He looked good in that game when they were giving him the ball. But then and I didn't understand why you got away from giving them the ball, because you were facing a team that didn't have much of an offense at all. So you had control.
Running game.
You had control of the game. There was no reason to get away from the run game. And
James do that though. They get away from what's working for them. I don't understand.
And James Cook was running the ball well when they were giving it to him.
Mm-hmm. He was. There was a stretch there where he looked really dominant.
He was running the ball better than his brother was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, Breece Hall came back off that injury and looked like the same Breece Hall. I was wondering how long it'd take him to get back to looking like himself, and he came out right out of the gate with a couple of big runs and looked pretty much like himself. But Dalvin Cook didn't look like himself that game. I don't know if it's just getting used to the new team and everything, but he wasn't. I thought he'd run the ball a little better, but I thought James Cook looked good. But like Judge was saying, they got away from giving him the ball, and got a little pass happy, and then you start turning the ball over, and next thing you know, you're in overtime with the Jets.
Peyton was losing his mind on the main telecast. Oh my goodness!
and then look at this too, guys. Can you believe it? Josh Allen is 0-4 in overtime games.
Yeah, that's not a good record.
Nope, not at all.
Especially when one was against the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Yep, and everyone was saying they lost because of a coin toss. No, they lost because their defense had a meltdown. That's why they lost. I didn't place the blame on Josh Allen in that game. I felt Josh Allen did everything he needed to do to put his team in a great situation to possibly pull out that game.
Not the case on Monday, though. He took a big crap in the middle of the field on that one.
I'm surprised he took a crap on Monday night because he's usually good in primetime games.
Yeah. He there was a couple times he just threw the ball down the field. It was like, I'm gonna see how far I can throw it, and if anybody can run underneath it.
There was one play where I was like, really, bro, you're that stupid that you had that much room to actually run and pick up a third down, and you decide to air it out and you get picked off. Yeah. Like, bro, what are you doing? You're becoming a victim of interceptions. Like, come on, really? Make a smarter decision with the football. Your ass like to run. Why didn't you run in that situation? You had enough space to pick up the third down. You're starting to be like Aaron Rodgers, not running for it. You had a chance to run for it. You would have got the first down. No question about it with all that space he had. But this dude decides that he's going to air it out, makes a deep throw down the field. Jordan Whitehead's right there to pick it off.
Yeah, the first interception wasn't terrible just because it ended up being like a punt because you pinned them. It was third and long and and they got the interception, but yeah, they were starting at their own 4-yard line. So that was almost like a punt. So that one didn't bother me as much as the other ones. Because the other ones were just terrible. But yeah, he has to clean it up, and I think he will. I mean, he's going to have some turnovers, but I don't think he's going to have too many games where he has those 3 or 4 interceptions in one game like he did that game. I think he'll clean that up. I think the Bills are still going to be a good team. They got to figure out some kind of pass rush because when they don't have Von Miller on the field, their pass rush is non-existent, and they're going to have to figure that out. And then they got to figure out a way to commit to the run a little bit more. Don't give up on it so quick, especially when
playing good defense.
They were running the ball pretty good that game and got away from it. So, but it's going to be interesting. But before we get out of here, I was going to go through this week's slate of games and see who you guys think is going to win these games. Packers at the Green Bay at Atlanta.
Green Bay
be the first game.
Green Bay, man, Jordan Love, he was really impressive. That was a remarkable start to, his NFL debut, I would say. I mean, I know he's played before, but it's a fresh start for him. And he was what the Packers expect him to be as they embark on this new era. So, I can't go against Jordan Love against an Atlanta Falcons team that is still trying to grow as a team, that is still trying to put it all together. I think the Packers beat the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a real good game. Falcons are 1.5 point favorites in the game, actually, but I think it's going to be a real good game. I do agree with you. I was impressed by Love. I thought he looked good in his first start. Looked comfortable back there.
Yeah, he did look comfortable.
But I'm gonna go with the Falcons in this game, and really because they're at home and the run game. I love Bijan Robinson. I thought he looked real good. But I like their coach, the way he's Arthur Smith, the way he schemes that run game. And I think the Falcons can stay on the field and give Green Bay's defense some trouble. And the Falcons have a pretty decent defense as well. So I'm gonna go with the Falcons in this game, but I do think it's going to be a real close game. But I do agree, Jordan Love was impressive his first start, and hopefully he can keep that going here in week 2.
Yeah.
Then you have the Bears at the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is a 2.5-point favorite at home. This is a hard one for me because, and this is why. Tampa Bay won last week. I wouldn't expect them to win last week for one, but the Bears just looked so bad last week against the Packers. It's hard for me to go with the Bears. So I think I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay at home.
I gotta go with Tampa as well, man. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I got to go with Tampa as well. I don't believe in the Bears. The Bears must ramp up the pass rush against Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, and I just don't see that happening at all. This team looked bad offensively and defensively. Look, they can't really stop the run. They can't really get after the quarterback. And I think that was one of the most frustrating things was their inability to stop the Green Bay Packers, particularly on third down. So, yes, I got to go with Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay.
Next game will be the Seattle Seahawks at the brand new Lions.
Lions.
Glenn didn't even have to think about that one. He's like, man.
That was easy. Yeah, that's a no-brainer for me. I think the Lions, the Seahawks, they had a tough one last week against the Rams, but you got another tough opponent now. You probably should have beat the Rams, as most people had anticipated coming into that game. A lot of people picked the Seahawks to win. The Seahawks didn't look like the team from a year ago. Geno Smith looked a bit uncomfortable, I would say. They just look disoriented. So I'm going to go with the Lions because I think the Lions are this new look team. They're this team that is favored to come out of the NFC North. Dan Campbell has these guys playing really, really well. They have come together as a team. You see the chemistry has taken shape. You see the communication, the fearless communication that Dan Campbell has brought to that team to kind of revitalize the culture and bring a winning attitude to that team. And those guys believe. He has those guys believing. And I think with the pieces you have, you're seeing the young guys come together as well. Their draft picks are panning out. Everything is just going well for the Lions. And then Jared Goff has improved at the quarterback position. So, yes, I got the Lions winning.
Yeah, I like the Lions as well. Lions offensively, I mean, last year they had one of the better offenses in the league, and I think this year their offense is going to be even better. I thought they had a pretty good – because I didn't even think the Lions played their best game in week 1, and they got the win over the Chiefs. And I think a lot of that was because that Lions defense is better this year than what they were last year. So I like the Lions as well. Seahawks, they didn't look great in week 1 against the Rams. And Geno Smith, I know everybody was real high on him, but that's what I was saying. Just because he had that one great year last year doesn't mean was he going to be able to do that again this year? And I'm not saying he can't. I'm not going to write him off after 1 week, but like Judge said, he didn't look comfortable back there in that pocket at all. And if he's going to be shaky like that, it could be a long season for Seattle, especially if they can't get any kind of run game going.
You got to think too. People know how to scheme and game plan for him now. They went back and they studied film and they looked at what they can do to neutralize him. So there you have it.
Then you have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 8.5-point favorites.
I don't see Josh Allen having back-to-back weeks where he's terrible. So I guess I'll go with Buffalo over the Raiders. But the Raiders win in week 1 against the Denver Broncos. Yeah, that kind of sent the statement around the league, right?
Yeah, it'll be a close game. That is for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but I don't trust Josh McDaniels as a head coach. I agree with the judge. I don't think Josh Allen's going to have another back-to-back dud week. So I like the Bills here against the Raiders as well. Especially at home, in Buffalo. Next game, Los Angeles Chargers at the Tennessee Titans. Chargers are 3-point favorites.
Chargers,
they bounced back from that close, heartbreaking loss to the Miami Dolphins.
I'm going to go with the Chargers just because I don't trust Tannehill as the quarterback of the Titans. I do think the Titans have a good defense and might be able to slow this Chargers offense down some. But the Chargers defense really didn't show me nothing against Miami. But the Titans don't have an offense that I think is going to be able to exploit the Chargers defense like Miami could. So for that reason, and I like Justin Herbert, Chargers offense is explosive, especially with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams healthy. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers, basically because I don't trust Tennessee's offense, but I still don't trust that Chargers defense. If that Chargers defense doesn't get better, they're not going anywhere in the AFC.
They're not going anywhere as long as Brandon Staley is their coach.
Oh, that's your favorite guy. Why you hate on Staley for? Come on,
I called
Judge.
for his job last season, at the end of last season, and the Chargers decided to keep him as their head coach. I think as long as he's there, the Chargers are not going to have much luck.
It takes a genius to play man to man against Tyreek Hill in the fourth quarter of a game. It takes a genius to do that. You want to fire?
People say Justin Herbert is an overrated quarterback, and I beg to differ. The only reason he is not put in a good position to thrive is because of the coaching staff. It is because of Brandon Staley.
No, and Staley's supposed to be a defensive guy, and he can't get that defense.
And then you hired Kellen Moore to be the offensive coordinator. Are you crazy? Did you see what the guy did in Dallas? I wasn't a big fan of that hiring.
I think Kellen Moore is better than the guy they had as an offense coordinator last year. I think their biggest problem is Staley head coach.
You think he's a major upgrade?
I think he's a little bit of an upgrade over who they had last year.
I think you were better off keeping Joe Lombardi as your offensive coordinator.
I think their biggest problem was Staley, and especially because he's supposed to be a defensive guru, and that defense.
Oh, Staley is
that defense can't stop nobody.
Staley needs to be a defensive coordinator and not a head coach. Clock management is an issue. Some of his boneheaded play calling and decision making it's just puzzling to me, baffling. And that's why the Chargers are not going to have much success as long as he's around.
Then we have the Ravens at the Bengals. Bengals are 3-point favorites at home.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, they're not going to have two bad weeks. There's no way. Joe Burrow's going to play a lot better than he did last week. I think a lot of that was rust. I think a lot of teams weren't prepared in week one. Trust me, I think they went back to the drawing board. They went back to the basics. They went back to see what they can do to correct their mistakes. And they're going to play better football this week collectively as a unit. So I got the Cincinnati Bengals.
That was like a 5-17 kind of game.
I like the Bengals in this game as well. I do think it could be a close game just because it's a division game. They usually in the AFC North, them teams usually play each other tough. I don't take a whole lot out of last week's loss to the Browns because I think Joe Burrow's like 1-5 against the Browns since he's been in the NFL. The Bengals don't play good against the Browns. Joe Burrow hasn't played well against the Browns, being week one. I agree. I don't think he's going to have another bad week like he did last week. So I like the Bengals at home. Next game, Indianapolis Colts on the road at the Houston Texans. Texans are 1.5 run favorites.
Texans are favorites? What the hell?
Colts was favorites.
How did that happen? Damn, the Colts get that much disrespect.
It's been going back and forth. Game's almost a pick 'em if you go by the money line. I like the Colts here too.
That's an insult.
The Colts was beating the Jags with 6 minutes left in that game in week 1. I was happy with the way Anthony Richardson looked in week 1, first game of his NFL career. I thought he played a pretty good game. I thought our play calling kind of hurt us more than anything. I thought we got pretty conservative in the second half, went into more of a let's hold on and win mode instead of keep attacking. We got to have a running. We got to get a running back to quit fumbling the fucking ball.
Yeah.
I don't know what Deion Jackson's problem was. He looked pretty good in the preseason, but that dude couldn't hold on to the ball for nothing. And then, and our special teams have to be better. If we cover that punt in the fourth quarter, we might win that game. So I think it's going. But I like what I saw out of Richardson. I think the Colts are a better team than what a lot of people think. So I'm going with the Colts as well over the Texans.
Yeah, same here. I got the Colts as well. But Anthony Richardson, man, he can't keep running the football like that. I get it. You want to make plays. You like to, escape the pocket and run for it. But he's another Josh Allen. He wants to put his body on the line, and that is running the risk by doing that. So I think eventually, as time goes, he will, not be so. I don't want to use the word reckless, but bold and daring and aggressive. Because the last thing you want is your quarterback to get injured. And you saw how he was shaken up after he took that hit as he was trying to run for the end zone.
Yeah, he's got to be smarter on the shots that he takes. Not that,
right.
I think that'll come as he gets with some time and gets more experience out there.
Yeah.
I was happy with the way he looked week 1, especially just because of his inexperience. He hadn't played a whole lot in college, so I didn't know what to expect. But he looked like he belonged. That was what I was looking for. Did he look like he belonged? He didn't look like he was in over his head. So I was happy with that, and I think he'll keep improving throughout the season. And Steichen, as a head coach, I thought there was a couple calls that he could have went different, but I also think he'll improve too. That's his first game ever as a head coach, so he's going to learn a little bit as you go too. Even though he's had a lot of experience as an offensive coordinator, it's not the same as being the head guy. So I think it's going to go good, and hopefully here in about 3 weeks we get JT back and he buys in, and I think that could really help the Colts as well. Chiefs at the Jaguars. I think this could be a good game. I'm going with the Chiefs since they have Kelsey and Jones back.
Upset City. Give me Jacksonville.
Glenn's taking Jacksonville at home.
I mean, I can see that too. I can see that as well. Travis Kelsey is getting back into things. He's just coming back. There might be a little rust there that he has to shake off. The connection might not be what it should be with him and Patrick Mahomes. And remember, Patrick Mahomes, a lot of people was talking about the offense runs through Travis Kelsey. That offense also runs through Patrick Mahomes too, but he was underthrowing receivers. He was overthrowing receivers. He didn't look good, particularly in that second half of last week's contest. So, yes, I can see Jacksonville pulling off the upset here. I think Jacksonville comes in playing with a little bit more house money, and I think everyone is going to be looking for the Chiefs to play a better game with Kelsey being back. But watch out for Jacksonville. I got Jacksonville as well.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
Don't buy the hype.
Next game.
Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
49ers and Rams.
Niners. That defense alone could win the game.
Niners. That defense can swallow us up, and I think our young and inexperienced defense, although they played pretty well last week, will have a tougher time against the 49ers. Now they face a real test because the 49ers, man, they can beat you in so many ways. They have so many weapons. You have Christian McCaffrey. You're going to have a handful with him, trying to slow him down in that offense. You got Debo Samuel. You got playmakers on that team, and that team checks all the boxes. They might be the most complete team in the NFL. You also got a quarterback who rarely gets rattled, it seems, who never gets rattled, who's always calm and comfortable out there in Brock Purdy. So I got to go with the 49ers, and this is coming from a Rams fan.
Yeah, I like the 49ers as well. Brock Purdy, I thought looked real good first game back after his injury. That defense is great, and the offense, there's so many weapons. I thought the Rams looked good in week one. I really did. I like the way they played in week one, but I just don't think their defense is going to be able to slow that offense down enough, because I don't think the Rams offense is going to be able to score a lot of points against that 49ers defense. So I like the 49ers. Next game, Giants at the Cardinals. I'm going with the Giants. I know Giants didn't look good in week one, but I think Brian Dable will figure out what the hell happened. I think he'll have the Giants more ready. And Arizona, I don't trust them on offense with Dobbs as the quarterback, and I don't think their defense is really that great. So I'm gonna go with the Giants here to get back on track this week.
I'm going Arizona.
You going Arizona? I'm going Giants too. Giants got a butt spanking though. They got that booty whooped. I mean, bad. That was embarrassing on national TV too. We had to watch that crap of a game. I mean, that was just terrible, man. And you know, I'm surprised. I
turned that game off.
I'm surprised I actually continued watching it. 40-0. I mean, that's embarrassing. I think the Giants want to respond, and I think, you know, after that beatdown, I think they're gonna play with a lot of anger this week. They're gonna come out mad and angry, ready to go, ready to bounce back and show the world that, hey, you know, last year wasn't a fluke. You know, we're gonna try to get back to the playoffs and try to you know, forget about last week, and we're gonna take care of business against Arizona. So yeah, I'm going with the Giants, but I still don't trust in Daniel Jones. And just because you paid him like an elite quarterback doesn't mean he's an elite quarterback, because he is far from being in the class of elite quarterbacks.
We have Jets and the Cowboys.
Cowboys, that defense is going to overwhelm the Jets, and Zach Wilson is in for
a long day.
A long day. He might need to sit in a hot spa after that one, because let me tell you, he's going to take a beating, and he might shit his pants having to run away from a guy like Micah Parsons, a big body who's going to be coming at him. And don't forget about DeMarcus Lawrence, and don't forget about the secondary. You know what? I think that secondary can even pick him apart. That offense is going to be so discombobulated without Aaron Rodgers, it's not even funny.
I think I'm going to take the Cowboys, but I think Cowboys win this game. But the spread's at 9.5 points right now. And if I was going on the spread, I would take the Jets at the plus 9.5.
I don't care what that spread says.
No, the Cowboys are favorite, but why I would take the Jets getting 9.5 points because of this. I agree with you. I don't think the Jets offense is going to be able to do a lot, but I could also see the Jets defense causing a lot of trouble for Dak Prescott.
The
Cowboys offense,
you know,
yeah.
So I think it could be. I think it could end up being a closer game. I think it could be a closer game because of that. But I do think the Cowboys win because even though I don't think Dak Prescott's that good of a quarterback, he's better than Zach Wilson. So I think that's why Dallas will end up winning that game, because both defenses are real good, but Dallas is going to have the advantage on offense since the Aaron Rodgers injury. Washington Commanders at the Denver Broncos.
Washington.
This was the hardest one.
That's gotta be a pick 'em.
Yeah, you gotta go with it. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with the Broncos just because they're at home.
Yeah, and I don't think they're gonna lose like they did last week. I think they're gonna
And I
they're
trust
gonna get around.
I trust
Remember,
Russell Wilson just a little bit more than I trust Russell Wilson just a little bit more than I do Sam Howell.
and then Sean Payton's their guy too, their coach. So
And that might be enough to get them over the edge on that one. So
yeah, I might. Yeah, I'll take the Broncos.
Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots.
Miami.
sorry, Frankie. Miami.
Yep.
I'm
Miami all day because they have incredible speed. They have a need for speed. They can beat you with their speed. Tyreek Hill and Tua are turning out to be a great wide receiver quarterback combo. And I think they could put up a lot of points against New England. Sorry, Frankie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Miami here too, just because I don't think New England's gonna have enough offense.
They don't have enough firepower to keep up. Yeah, exactly.
Monday Night Football game 1, New Orleans, because we have 2 games on Monday night this week. New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers.
Carolina. Oh wait. Give me Saints.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints as well.
Give me Derek Carr and the Saints and that defense.
And then you have the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Game 2 of Monday night.
Is it at Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Pittsburgh lost last week at home, remember?
Yeah, Cleveland. I gotta take Cleveland. They're look like they're relatively decent.
Yeah, I'm taking. I gotta
take Cleveland too. They're decent. They're decent, and they right now they look like they have a better roster.
I'm taking Cleveland too. Pittsburgh's offense didn't look good, and Pittsburgh lost Deontay Johnson. And then they lost somebody else too to an injury. So I'm gonna go with the Browns as well.
That offense was anemic.
Yeah, it was bad.
They need a new offensive coordinator. I don't know how that Canada still has a damn job in the NFL.
Hey, I saw a funny post. Someone said he needs to go back to Canada. Canada needs to go back to Canada.
Yeah, I don't know how he still has a job as offensive coordinator, but
I don't know either. I think some changes will come if this keeps up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know the Roonies are not going to put up with mediocrity for like a long time. So something's gonna have to change in Pittsburgh.
Well, all right, fellas.
But Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. He's always had a winning record, so we'll see. Still early.
All right, fellas. Is there anything that we didn't hit on that you wanted to hit on?
I think we're good, even though the Reds game was a bummer, but I think we got that out of the way early.
Yep, and guys, everything about your hygiene can change by using the Manscaped premium package, the 4.0 premium package. I have it right here. I use it. Everything about this packet looks and feels of high quality. You won't be disappointed. Your hygiene will be better than ever before. Check out this stuff. I use this stuff. It is amazing. I have been using this stuff for a while now. You finally, no more worries about my personal grooming. No more worries about my personal grooming. Check this stuff out, guys. This stuff is amazing. I'm telling you. The lawnmower 4.0. I use this all new skin safe electric trimmer. This stuff is great. Then you have the weed whacker You want to trim your nose hair, get all that unattractive nose hairs out of your nose. And then, of course, we have this stuff. This stuff is amazing too. The crop preserver.
Crop preserver.
For your balls, ball deodorant and all this stuff. Hey, check out manscaped.com. And if you decide to place an order, please use the Sports Judge code. Use promo code The Sports Judge, all caps, The Sports Judge. Use that promo code and you guys will get 20% off and free shipping. Use promo code The Sports Judge, all caps, and get 20% off and free shipping.
And your balls will thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a good product. I have that exact same kit sitting over here. So yeah, it's definitely if you're looking for some new trimmers and stuff, that's definitely where to check out. Make sure you use the Judge's promo code there. Save yourself a little bit of money, and I know the Judge will appreciate it as well. But we appreciate our Judge. You have anything else?
No, that's it for me. It's been a great show, everyone. And I want to thank all our viewers for tuning in tonight. And I want to thank Big Glenn for being our guest tonight. Feel free to come on anytime, my friend. You're always welcome.
Definitely.
Real quick, Glenn. I know the Fever fell short making the WNBA playoffs. You think they make the playoffs next year?
100%, absolutely. And we do get the number one pick again. We got the best odds at number one, and the luck will fall away this year.
I'm hoping
we'll have to pick again in the lottery for another 15 years. So yeah,
I'm hoping we get Caitlin Clark.
Yes, money.
You put her with Boston, that's going to be a hell of a combination. But we appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room and at the Sports Judge. We'd both greatly appreciate it. And at the All Sports All Plays Network, check them out over there as well. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, or Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room. You can also find the Sports Judge on his Facebook page, the Sports Judge. Check out All Sports All Plays Network on all social media as well. We'll be back on Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern with another episode of Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we will see you guys on Tuesday.
Good night, everyone.